Hey, hi. I'm Christine from the Farmingdale Public Library. Today I'm going to show you how to make book page paper roses. They're going to look something like this when we're all finished. So let's get started. I will go through the supply list and then I'll do a demonstration of how to make them. So what you're going to need is some sort of paper. I'm just using paper from an old discarded book. You can use vintage paper. You can use colored colored paper from a picture book, or you can use any kind of patterned paper. Okay, so the next thing you'll need is Mod Podge. You'll need the matte version and a sponge brush to go with it. We're going to be cutting the paper. We're going to be cutting circles out of it. So you can either use a circle punch to make it easier. You'll want about like 1.5 to 2 inches, or you can just cut it out with scissors. That's what I did. The next thing you'll need is either jute or paper covered wire for the stems. I used this stem wire. It looks like this that I got from Michael's, very inexpensive, but anything will really do. You just want it to be able to stand up and for the paper to adhere to it. You'll need wire cutters if it's too long. I cut mine about this long, which I guess is maybe a little less than 12 inches, 10 inches maybe, just for the height that I wanted it. You can change that. So you might need wire cutters to cut your wire. You'll need hot glue. So I have my glue gun here. Other glue probably would work. The hot glue works really well. But you could probably use like Gorilla Glue or something. Okay, if you want, you can use glitter. That's optional. I'll show you what you can do with that. And then you'll just need like a skinny paintbrush to curl the paper with and scissors. Okay, so let's get started. So the most important thing that you're going to want to do is prepare the paper. So we're going to do that by coating both sides of your paper completely with Mod Podge. So I'll just do one quickly to show you the idea. There's no real technique that you need. You just want to coat it completely. So we'll just go, maybe lower this a little so you can kind of see better. So just back and forth, you can go up and down, just a thin coat. No wrong way to do it. Just cover the entire paper. So once you're done with that, you'll want to set it aside to dry, because then you'll need to do the other side. So that takes about 15 or 20 minutes for each side. So you may want to prepare your paper ahead of time before you want to actually start making the roses. And you'll need about 6 circles and about 6 or 7 petals, 6 or 7 circles and 6 or 7 petals for each flower. So keep that in mind when you're preparing your paper. Each one of these pages from like a little novel, I was able to get about 5 circles, 4 or 5 petals. So you need probably 2 to 3 pages per flower. And you may want to make a bunch of flowers to have like a nice little bouquet like this. So just prepare as much as you need for that. Okay, so I'm going to put the Mod Podge away and just kind of move my paper aside to dry. Okay, so the next thing that you will do is, if you have the circle punch, you'll cut out your circles from the paper. Otherwise, you can freehand it. So I actually ended up using the cover for the Mod Podge, and I traced it on the paper, and then I cut out the circles. Like I said, about 1.5 to 2 inches for the circles. This is a 2-inch circle. That's what I've been using. I did do one with a circle that was about 1.5 inches wide. And it worked fine. Okay, so I already cut out my circles. So I'm just gonna cut out a couple of petals just to kind of show you what you're looking for. The petals you just kind of wanna do in like a leaf shape. Something like that. Have a couple like that. I'll give you an idea. It doesn't matter. You just want them to be kind of similar in size, kind of proportionate to each other. I'll cut out one more and then just move it along. You can always cut them, tweak them later on if you feel like the shape isn't quite what you're looking for. Okay, so I have my circles and my petals. The next thing you're going to want to do is to roll the petals using a paintbrush, or you could use a thin pencil. Anything will work. You're going to take one side and wrap it around the paintbrush. Kind of watch me. There we go. It doesn't have to be too tight. The Mod Podge will help it hold its shape. So you see, so I unroll it and it's doing that. And you can kind of, again, mold that more or less as you go. So we'll want to do that to about 6 or 7 to prepare them so we have them ready for when we start building the rows. So I'll just do mine quick. Again. So you see how it kind of will curl outward like on this rose. So what's kind of nice about this project is that there's really no wrong way to make it look. Just like flowers, no two are alike. So whatever you feel, whatever looks right to you is what you can do once you have the basics down. So again, just rolling it, kind of loosening up as I take it off the brush. Right. Just about done. And do one more, and then I will move on to the gluing part. So again, I don't know if I said this or if it's clear, but you want to leave about half of the petal flat. You don't want to roll it all the way. If you do roll it all the way, you can just unroll it. Okay, so my petals are ready, and now I'm ready for the gluing part. So I'm going to take my hot glue or whatever glue you're using. Like I said before, I think hot glue probably works the best, but you can always experiment. You're going to take one of your circles. I'm actually going to just move 6, 3, 4, 5, 6 over so that I know, because I keep losing track when I do it. So you're going to put a little circle of little glue in the center of the circle, just a little dot, and then put your wire right in the center. Sorry, my wire is a little bit bendy here. And then what you're going to do, if you can see, is that you're going to fold, and you might need a little more glue over here. You're going to fold each side into the center. So not in half, but each side, fold one over, then another dot. And then the other. So like that. And I'm gonna leave mine a little pushed up like that, and kind of try to give it a little fanning out. Okay, so once that dries, you'll take the next circle and you'll want to do the same thing. But you want to kind of move it around so that it's not exactly the same direction. So just kind of flip it over so that you're folding in the opposite way that you folded the first time. Okay. Glue. The nice thing also, I guess, about using the hot glue is that it dries, I mean, it hardens pretty quickly. So you don't have to wait too long before you can move on to the next step. Just a little. And just gently push it down. And then, so if you, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of starting to look like the inside of a flower. Kind of see what it'll look like in the end. Right. So again, I'm going to flip it over. You can maybe move the circle up or down a little so that they're not all ending at the same spot. To kind of give that illusion of the inside of a flower. Yeah. And halfway through with the circles. So we're kind of getting there. All right, so you kind of see the idea. All right, just keep going here. So just a little dab of glue is plenty to hold the paper. And if you want to maybe, as you go, keep the top a little, glue towards the bottom so that you have sort of like this effect where it's kind of, I don't know what word to use to describe it, but you kind of see what I'm talking about, how the top is a little bit looser. So you want to, put the glue maybe towards the bottom to kind of give that top a little more 3D effect. All right, and I'm going to do my last one here. Just glue. Okay, so there we have it. All right. So now we're ready to do the petals. And this is, again, it's really just what looks right to you. So the one thing though that I will say is that you want to put you want to curl it so that the curl is down like this. And then you'll put the glue on the very bottom of the petal so that it's like this. So when you glue, put the curl at the bottom, put the glue on the top side, and then push it down like that. Okay, so you can really start anywhere. Start towards the bottom. Well, start anywhere, but I would say towards the bottom so that as you go around, you can kind of squeeze in maybe some more petals towards the top where you see they need a little room. Okay, so kind of give you an idea of what I just did. It takes a little bit before it's all done, before it looks really, you know, right. So we're just gonna glue the next one, just wherever, again, towards the bottom, like so. Kind of see the effect there. Okay. And I just have petals. Whoops, so see that one I just glued on the wrong side. So I'll let that dry and then I'll try to get the glue off again. So curl on the bottom and then put the glue towards the bottom of the other side. We'll just keep going around in a circle. until you're happy with it. Everyone's will look a little bit different, and that's of course okay. So. Just gonna tuck this one, like tuck it right in there. You can kind of try to, like, you know, the Mod Podge should make the paper flexible enough that you can push it around and curl it to the shape that you have. I almost think this petal I have here maybe is a little bit too big because it's kind of not giving me, but I'm gonna try to maybe glue it, put a little more glue to give it a little more rounding at the bottom there. Yeah. So I think as you go, you kind of get the hang of it. It's really a technique type that improves as you go. So I've got a couple here of that. Really, none of them looks exactly the same. This one, and this one, and now this one. And I'm just gonna put that one last petal on, and that'll be good for now, but feel free to add as many petals as you like. Okay. All right, and then the last, so after I glue this on, let's see, I'm gonna try to stick it right here. Hold it in place for a second. There's one more thing to show you. Okay, so that's basically my finished product. I mean, I might add a little more later. I kind of think it needs another one maybe right there. But I don't have any more petals right now. So, okay, I'll just put it down for a second. The last thing you can do is, if you want, you could put glitter on the edges. So see this one I made, I put a little glitter. It's nice with the red, and maybe like a silver or a gold is a little more subtle. But I have I have red glitter, so that's what we're working with today. All right, so I'm just gonna put a little into the bowl, and then you'll wanna use your Mod Podge again. This time, best if you use a paintbrush rather than the sponge brush, because you'll wanna really get it just on the edges, or at least that's what I like, but it's up to you. Also could use, someone suggested using a glitter marker or any other marker, and you could you could make the edges a certain color. So that's probably, if you want to do it like that, I would do the edges before you start gluing, because it gets kind of hard to get in the bottom. So I'm just going to take a drop of the Mod Podge, and I'm going to put it around the edges here. And I'll just show you, and just dip it into the glitter. And there you have it. So it gives it kind of like that extra little pop. So that's basically it. You know, pretty simple once you get the hang of it. And I have a whole bunch here. You put them all together. It's really a nice little, cute little thing. Okay, so that's it for today's demonstration. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at the Farmingdale Public Library. Yeah, have a great day. Thank you.